Some days, there comes the Uge Mobo festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Mobo festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
Yari yari, Ọba Tope.
The Oba of Benin added a colorful mood to the year's celebration as he walks round the city center amidst cheers.
Hello, welcome to Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji. According to the new law on kidnapping passed by the Edo State House of Assembly and also signed by the Governor of Edo State, Governor Monday Okpeolo, on any house found being used for kidnapping activities will be demolished. For that reason, we're going to be going out on the street to sample people's opinion, hear what they have to say about the new law. It's a Viewpoint on ITV.
First, it's a good law. Let's put it there. It's a very good law. The law goes very far beyond, apart from kidnapping, even sponsors of kidnapping, sponsors of courtesan activities, they've all been captured by this law, such that persons can now fall the persons that can fall prey are wider than what it used to be. But again, that law on its own will put more jeopardy or put more persons in jeopardy as it is right now, because you can't really tell what your tenant is doing in your house. That's why in these days of building houses and leaving it to tenants where you don't have landlord living there, it's not every time the landlord lives there. I have houses that I manage today that I only visit maybe twice a year. The owners are outside this country, they are abroad. I put tenants there. I have given them the place. They are within their rights by law to enjoy peaceful possession by law. So I cannot even go there and just say I want to open their door. And that I suspect anything, I cannot. So you see, it's a law that we need to also look at the implementation. I would have thought that bringing in this law, we should also amend our tenancy laws. We should amend our housing laws such that if you suspect, even not even the landlord alone, if anybody in the street suspect that the persons living in that house, they are carrying out activities that fall under this law, those people can have proper recourse, people they can recourse to and report to and remove such persons from there before it becomes a situation where the house itself has to go. Because sometimes you punish the house owner and the house owner has no inkling, and even if he had an inkling, there was nothing he could have done. I have dealt with a case of the landlord was in Lagos, but he got information that one of his tenants was bringing firearms to the house. He got information from another tenant who pleaded to be anonymous because of security, because he was afraid of his life and that of his children. So he called landlord, please, oh, this boy, I saw him, they were taking firearms into his room. So the landlord came to me, he wants this boy out by all means, but I cannot force him out. I have to go through the legal procedure, serve him notice, the required notice, and notice sometimes can be long. In this case, it needed 6 months because it's a 1-year tenant that had no tenancy agreement. So what happens if within that period of my notice he is caught in kidnapping or in courtesy? So there are so many things that we need to put in if this law must work, because it's a good law. But like I said, we need to also bring in persons who have operated under this environment before and to tell us what they feel can be done to better operate that law. Firstly, if you go to the police they don't have records, so remove police from the issue. They don't have records. But let us even look at it from another perspective. How do you profile these people? You profile them today, they bring happens tomorrow. I have a tenant I've been trying to eject for more than 6 months, no more than a year. Each time we file, before the matter gets to the stage of judgment, they change one of the members of the court. We have to start de novo. We started de novo in the matter. My matter has been struck out twice. Why this matter was going on. So it's been more than a year I've been trying to eject a tenant. What happened is that the person who came here to take let of that property is a man with a wife. They look responsible. He gave me his business card and everything. He said, oh, this is a good person to give a house to. But when I started visiting the house, I have never seen that much. He has never lived there for 1 day. He took let of that place, placed his mother there, his siblings who are all rejected from different families, maybe the ones who the marriage didn't work out, the ones who were working somewhere and they stole and they were driven, just loaded them in that place like a refugee camp. That's what they are doing in that house. There's no person, the person I gave the property to is not there. And I cannot just jump into the house and force them out. I must go through the proper procedure. See, that is why I say again, we need to amend our tenancy laws. It's long overdue. The tenancy law we are using here, we inherited them from the white people, the British people. And these people we inherited these things from, we copied from, let me not use the inherit, we copied from. These people, they have amended their own self such that today, if you want to eject a tenant from a house, you don't longer need to go to court, because this is our system of you have to go to court, you have to give notice and go to court. It's too long. We can have a simpler system that says, oh, before you issue notice, come and take the notice from court so that we know that you actually issued it. Go to court, pay for the notice in court, let the court believe, go and serve it. Once the period expires, if it's 1 month, if it's 2 months, if it's 3 months as the law provides for, once the period expires, the court belief will go and eject the person without having to come through trial system anymore.
First and foremost, I must commend the House for the law they passed. Also for the governor to assent to it. Kidnapping is rampant because there are connivance. There can be no kidnapping where there is no place to keep the victims. If a house is used as an object to aid the offense and the kidnapper is sentenced to death, why should the house exist? It's like saying an armed robber is convicted for robbery, but the gun he used can be given back to the owner. They are what they call instrument used for the commission of the crime. They should go. As long as there is no place to keep kidnapped victims, people will not indulge in it. Most of these landlords know what they are doing. You see a man who has no job, want to pay you a house of 500, is prepared to pay you 2 million. You don't find a source of job. Where did you work? You have no job, you have no wife, you have no child. You are only interested in the money. I think it's a welcome development. So people will now be cautious before they give out houses to people. I saw the one they did in Ile, saw the one they did in Onwa and in Rumi, and on the television. In the television, I think this is a welcome development. It's like those days under the custom law. Any instrument a motor used to drive goods that are not licensed forfeited to the federal government. I don't see anything wrong with it. Let them demolish them so that people will be cautious. At least, this is not kidnapping is a menace in the society. If you can go to the camps and destroy the camps where the Fulani are staying in the bush, why not destroy the one they are using in the town? I think the landlord should ask the property tenants to go and depose to affidavit and give a copy to the police if there is any reason to protect the landlord. What job do you do? What's your age? Where do you work? Perhaps, I know if a lawyer wanted to get an office in Benin, a landlord said, I want a senior lawyer to certify that we are of good character. I have to, personally, because to undertake that is of a good character before the landlord gave him the house. And that is the essence of it all. The idea of overnight riches, kidnapping, it's not the best of it all. I think people, before you give a house, tell the people, go and depose to affidavit for the job you do, give a copy to the DP of your area so that I can be protected. In the absence of that, you are not accomplished.
The recent law that will be passed by those state House of Assembly that tend to checkmate and address the activities of criminals in the states, ranging from kidnappers, armed robbers, cultists, etc. It's a very sensitive and at the same time a complex issue that we are dealing with. Again, everything that have advantage has disadvantages. This law perhaps were made in good faith. There is one thing to make law, there is another thing to implement these laws. I want to advise that these laws should be implemented with human face. Like I said, if any property, as is stated in the law, is used to carry out crime, it should be well investigated before actions of demolition can be carried out. Because it is possible that a criminal, being a kidnapper, could be residing in a house of persons who is not in any way involved in the said crime. For instance, if I'm a landlord, I rent an apartment to a tenant, I don't know what that tenant do. Perhaps the tenant is a civil servant. We have seen a uniform person, security personnel like the police or army personnel involving in kidnapping and armed robbing. If as a landlord you now rent an apartment to such person, should you have anything to worry about? No. But if unfortunately the person now indulge in criminality, should that mean my house should be destroyed? It's a very big issue, and we are very concerned about this aspect because it could happen to anybody. So as such, we are advising that the government should enforce this law with human face, not to enforce it with any intention to victimize anybody. And before there should be any form of demolition of any house, there are procedural processes of investigating crime. There are aspects that the judiciary, the court will have to come in to find a person guilty. You can't just say Comrade Curtis Ogbebo is alleged of kidnapping and you just carry out such an exercise to carry out a dozer to go and put down a house when the process is provided for in the law has not been followed. The process of investigating me, if I'm directly involved in the crime, try me in a court, giving me an opportunity to defend myself in court. It is only when I am found guilty that such action can be carried out on me. When that is not done, I don't think such actions is just enough. It negates the procedures, the procedural norm provided for in the law for prosecuting crime. So in all, while the government is making efforts to checkmate, to reduce the crime or deal with crime, the government should also consider the innocent persons that could be victimized in the process. So we advise that the government follow due process in fighting criminality in the state and other part of the country. Nigeria as a country does not have a database that contains the information of the citizens. So from where and how are they going to document or profile tenants? If I'm being invited by a landlord or by security personnel, is it not what I tell them that they will document? If they ask me where I work, I tell them I work XYZ, I run a personal business. What mechanism, technology does the government have to do verification? So to me, that could be a mere eye service, an exercise in futility, because the government over time have not deemed it necessary to collate the database of every Nigeria like it is in other civilized and sane society. So it's going to be, like I said, it's a very sensitive and complex issue. So the government have to take step by step to address this issue so that we don't exacerbate and the process victimize innocent persons.
The issue of kidnappers being dealt with by a way of maybe demolishing their houses when they are found guilty is a good one. But then I think the law enforcement need to do a thorough due diligence to ensure that the owner of this house, the person who owns this house, they have to investigate to ensure that they have done their investigations, and if perhaps they have not done their investigation, then the law can have its course. But if they find out that these persons have in any way tried to do their investigation before accepting these persons into their compound, they should find a way to help the situation, because we cannot tell somebody who have taken his time, maybe his hard-earned money, maybe even his last money to build a house, and then you demolish the house because the person gave it to a wrong person, and not the fault. I mean, it's not the fault of the owner of the house. So I would advise and I would suggest that yes, it's a good idea, but let's ensure that investigations are done properly, very properly, before anything of such is carried out. Because yes, some landlords will be aware, perhaps because they've had agreement or understanding with these kidnappers, and they overlook it because of the money that they are getting. So if you find them guilty, I agree that their houses should be demolished totally.
I want to first and foremost commend the State House of Assembly for taking the bull by the horn, because kidnapping has assumed a very worrisome dimension. At the onset, it was like kidnapping expatriates, and then they proceeded to a large-scale kidnapping citizens. Now it is like kidnapping the poor, even the poor of the poorest. And that, of course, is a call to a serious action from the side of the government. But be that as it may, we should not forget that there are factors that necessitate this action behind the persons who are going into that venture of kidnapping, because it is now becoming a business to some persons, forgetting that they should be aware that kidnapping is a crime and every crime must be punished. And so that is why I said I want to give kudos to the House of Assembly for being able to come up with this laudable idea of passing a death sentence. I think that is a bit okay. But looking at the aspect of demolishing the houses where these kidnappers used to keep their victim, I want to say that first and foremost, some of these kidnappers may not keep their victim in a house where they themselves have rented. They can use some abandoned building, they can use some dilapidating houses, and at most time the owner may not even be aware that their houses are being used. So I think the government should look at that portion critically, because when I saw I think through the social media the demolition of a house in Uromi where the kidnapper were using as a hideout, or where they were keeping their victims, I felt well, it may be good, but if the owner does not authorize the kidnapper using his own place for such, I think that area should be looked into by the government, especially with this our present day, you know, investigating aspect. They want to carry out quick prosecution, and sometimes the investigation may be so shoddy that they cannot even go to the extent of getting the view of the owner of the house if he actually was aware that such person is using the house for kidnapping purposes. Again, I think it will put every landlord on their toes, so that in case you are bringing somebody into your house, you should be able to look at his character and what he's doing for a living. And like some person said, it should be profile involving the police to actually look at this person, how he makes his money, what business he's doing, before you can actually give out your house to persons for use or for rent. Especially a house where you don't live as a landlord or a landlady. You should be able not just give it to agent and then allow the agent to do some fast job because they need their own agency fee, and put people of questionable character. I want to say here and now that the government should do more than what they have done now by looking at the factors that necessitate kidnapping.
We are happy first that we have a government that is putting things in place to help check insecurity, because the issue of kidnapping had gone beyond the ordinary. So every responsible government will want to put everything in place, in short, to control it. And with the new law, more especially the one that is a little bit causing for worry for some, especially landlords who give out houses to people. Some may tell you I'm a dry cleaner, and at the end of the day he or she does something else. And some are informant to kidnapper, some are not even physical at the point of kidnapping, but they are the main masterminder. It's quite unfortunate that it does happen like that, but the also thing is that somebody must also pay a price, and that is going to put everyone on his toe, that you must now know the people you give house to. And in some cases, I think the law would have gone further to investigating the property of the parents of those people. If the person is a tenant somewhere, and you can really find out this is his father's house, this is his mother's house, if he does not have his own house, maybe the demolition should go towards those properties, instead of the one that sometimes the landlord gives out his house through an agent, through a lawyer, and the landlord lives in Lagos, lives in Abuja. All you just do, because we now have a new tenancy system where you consult an agent that I want to lease my house and you are far away. You are abroad, you build a house here, a lawyer helps you to give house to people. All that they are concerned about is getting their own agent fee, and they give the house out. At the end of the day, you now say one of the tenants was a kidnapper and the house is being demolished, and someone somewhere in UK have been working in mortuary, doing restaurant work, doing some very mini job to get that property done. It really can be painful, but I think there should be a furtherance to this. There should be some clause to be amended at this level. I think so, because just a law that has been passed and it can as well be amended to advancing it first. Profiling after getting the corporate, profiling the person's parents' property if he or she doesn't have, then that property can be faced first. More especially in the cases where the landlord does not even reside there. It will be understandable that you don't expect where I don't stay, I should know more about the activities of the person staying there. So being a fan of the governor, I appreciate what he has just done and the House of Assembly for passing this and the governor assigning it, but I think we can go further by what I have just said, so that those who are not in any way involved will not be a casualty. But if it's the property of the person that is involved, that he has a property, no question should be asked. They can go there and demolish it the next day. But in a situation whereby somebody is renting someone's house, the landlord does not stay there, or he knows that somebody says he's a medical doctor and he's renting my house and he pays my own fee, that is all that people are really concerned about. So please, I think there should be some amendments to that section. I think the government can have, a direct intelligence team attached to government house, either the office of the special advisor to the governor on security matters, or maybe another department within government that have to do with security. Then those consultants are just there and they are experts on this, and they will be independent people, not Nigeria police. I think the police is overwhelmed with a lot of issues. Adding this to their own, they can just even be in a hurry and get the possible result in order for them to go back to the office and continue with the normal case they have in their table. So I think independent security consultants can be better, if not the DSSS being involved.
So far so good. We've heard all they have to say about the new law on kidnapping being passed by the Edo State House of Assembly, especially in the aspect of landlords profiling their tenants before giving them house. Some are of the opinion that it is achievable, while some are saying it is not achievable. But in all we need to do as citizens is to put our hands together and work with the state government to be able to achieve this single purpose. It is Viewpoint on ITV. I am Caroline Okonji. Bye for now.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
ITV, certainly the best.
the evening of the initiation day, all the newly initiated Edion danced to the residents of the Odion Way and also visited some homes of the various senior elders, where Chief Elder Ogbede Onwonse was very conspicuous, especially at the country home of Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawo Igbenedion with his family on the night of the initiation.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to another edition of Tech Today on Independent Television, your #1 stop for everything innovation, gadgets, and technology shaping the way we live and work. I am Momo Lawal, or you can call me Mr. Kankan, and you'll be right. And today, we are beaming our focus on the power of the sun, literally. Yes, the topic is the power of solar innovation in Nigeria. Across the country, more Nigerians are turning to solar energy for light, for comfort, and business continuity. But how much do we really know about this solar technology that is changing the way we power our world? To help us understand this, I have with me an electrical engineer and a solar engineer specialist, Engineer Elisha Leo Asikidi. He has worked on several solar installation and energy projects, and he will be helping us unpack how solar energy works, what innovations are happening right now. Engineer Elisha, how are you doing? Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, guys.
All right, thank you very much for coming. All right, and as usual, before we go into all of this, we'll give you the biggest tech headlines that is making waves both globally and locally. We call it the Tech Updates segment. Stay tuned, don't go nowhere. Welcome back, guys. It's still Tech Today, and we are diving into the Tech Update segment. Yes, number one on the Tech Updates, we have that Apple has rolled out a groundbreaking eye tracking feature on the iPhone 16. This allows users to control the phone using only their eyes. No touch, no voice, just gaze. Okay, it uses an advanced AI to interpret where you're looking and respond accordingly. This means you can just scroll through apps, reply to messages, or even open your photo just by looking at your phone. You know, it's a game changer for people with mobility or physical challenges. This is a feature that just shows you that technology is not only about convenience, but it's about inclusion. Elisha, what do you think about that innovation by Apple?
Well, this innovation by Apple is actually for those who are physically impaired.
Well, I think it's something that I want to use, to just use my eyes to be controlling my device.
Well, you already have your hands.
But for convenience, I'm just saying.
It's just for the convenience of
yeah.
Those who do not have the ability to. So you use your eyes to do the...
To your phone. But I'm just imagining how it would be. We're waiting for it. We'll bring you guys more updates on that on the show, of course, as it unfolds. Next on the tech updates, we have that Starlinks has introduced what we call community Wi-Fi in parts of Africa and Asia. So instead of every home buying an expensive dish, a single Starlink hotspot can now serve an entire community at a much cheaper rates. It's like having one Wi-Fi dish in a village and everybody connects to it just like a cafe hotspot. This could close the internet gap in remote areas and give schools and small businesses reliable access. Imagine a rural area in Edo State or Taraba streaming online classes through Starlink's shared Wi-Fi. Elisha, what is not fascinating?
It is fascinating, and if you look, technology is actually evolving every day.
Yes.
And so those who were in the market before will leave the market for the new ones.
So take over. I really like this tech update because, as a matter of fact, it shows you that we don't even know what we're going to expect in the next 5 years in terms of technology.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I like that. You know, it's a good one. Big ups to Elon Musk's team. Next on the tech update, still globally, we have that Apple and Google are collaborating to establish a global safety standards for artificial intelligence. They want to make sure that AI behaves responsibly and protects user data. It's like both companies, you know, Apple and Google is big companies, they're big companies. They are agreeing on traffic rules so that your phone's artificial intelligence doesn't go around, you know, misusing your information or doesn't even go rogue on you. You know, this partnership will can make everyday device safer for users worldwide. You know, Elisha, you know, I'm really particular about this tech update because it actually addresses privacy concern. What do you like about this?
Only thing I can say that I like about this collaboration is the fact that I can now back up my Apple memories on the Google Drive, instead of the iCloud.
And also, they are not trying to ensure that you don't. There are certain things that the cloud would know. They don't want the cloud to know everything about you. If you don't want them to know certain things about you, it will not upload such information to the cloud anymore. It will just stay locally on your phone.
Yeah,
it's a good
innovation.
Now, coming here home in Nigeria, we have that our Nigerian government has signed an agreement with a Chinese solar giant, LONGi, to build 1 gigawatt solar panel factory. The goal is to produce panels locally and reduce the high cost of importing them. So this means very soon we could start buying made in Nigeria solar panels that are going to be cheaper and easy to access. This could actually transform Nigeria's renewable energy sector and create thousands of jobs. You know, imagine a tech hub in Benin City that could, you know, install affordable local panels made here in Nigeria. I know this is something relating to what we're discussing today, Elisha.
Well, it's a good initiative by the government to come into this collaboration with LONGi. Well, it has been well overdue.
Yeah,
because at least for it to reduce the cost of the way we buy our panels and all. So it's a good one.
Oh, man, I'm liking the tech updates as we go. And also in tech update locally, we have the Lagos State. We shared this with you a few weeks ago. That Lagos State, they are going into what we call smart traffic lights. Now, Lagos State, they are currently testing smart traffic lights that uses sensor and artificial intelligence to control timing based on real-time traffic flow. So it's like traffic lights that have brains. When one lane is very full, it gives that lane more time to move. You know, this smart traffic system can reduce congestion and, you know, fuel wastage in busy cities. You know, I particularly like this one that traffic lights, smart traffic lights. It just makes me understand that maybe, you know, normally we have our traffic light that normally move for maybe 90 seconds or 60 seconds. Now, it doesn't have to wait the whole 90 seconds if it sees that the place is now being congested. It just automatically just turns green and it allows people to move freely. It's not a good one.
It's a good one and it's actually powered by solar anyway.
Oh, it is powered by solar?
Yeah, because you can't use that when we have poor power supply.
I don't know about that power supply, but I know it's not exactly poor, it has improved.
Yeah.
So it's a good one. And, you know, but I'm scared. Will people actually obey those traffic lights?
Why not? Lagos is a place where they've advanced even more than many states in the country. So you don't just be the light there anyhow. Okay. You have to take
There's a fine for that.
Yeah.
And lastly, in the tech updates, we have Inoso Motors have launched what we call an electric delivery van. So Inoso Motors have announced plans actually to release electric delivery van next year. These vehicles will run on batteries instead of fuel, and making them cleaner and cheaper to maintain. So think of this as a delivering vans that you can charge with, like your phone, where you charge your phone. There is no petrol, no noise, no pollution. This move marks Nigeria's entry into a fast-growing electric mobility industry. Elisha, imagine delivery companies now using this. You are driving your vehicles. We know we graduated from using petrol to now using CNG, and now we're now having electric vehicles, and it's now even going into the logistics area. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a perfect one for us because it's high time we start trusting our brands. And, bringing out this kind of brand, electric vehicle, well, it's a 100% plus for us.
It's a 100% plus. I am sure that we can charge them regularly because I like this, becoming fair and all of that. Now, these are the top stories that's happening right now in tech, and let us dive right now into our topic for today, which is the power of solar innovation in Nigeria. Elisha, thank you very much again for joining us on the program. So let's just begin with this basic. What exactly is solar energy, and how does this solar power technology, how does it work?
Okay, solar energy is the conversion of sunlight to electricity. It's as simple as that, where you use, where the photovoltaic cells are being charged up through the sunlight and sent to the house. So basically, the things that you use to, store these things are batteries.
Yeah.
Then from the batteries, you get to use your inverters to invert the charges that are stored in the batteries to your house, to your homes.
Because the energy that comes there is in the DC.
In the DC, yes, and which the inverter changes.
DC means direct current.
Direct current, which the inverter changes to alternating current.
AC.
To AC.
Okay.
So, the process it takes is when there's sunlight, the cells take charges from the sun.
Okay.
Then, you have your positive and negative cables, which are from the panels to your charge controller. And these charge controllers, you use them according to the numbers of panels that you want to use for your home or businesses.
Oh.
So with that charge controller, your panels are being connected to it. Then from there to your inverter, from your battery, or your inverter to your battery, at least the battery has to power the inverter. So when all this happens, it's just like a circle. The sunlight goes to the charge controller goes to the battery, the inverter goes to the battery. Whatever is stored in the battery, there will not be sunlight for the whole day.
Yes.
So at night, the inverter inverts whatever it is that's left of the battery to give you at least power supply for the remaining of the hour or the night.
Wow, this is very, very good to take in. I really like how you explain it to us. That's why you're the solar energy expert. Now, I understand that solar energy has become very popular, and I don't know how affordable it is. Maybe you can share light on that, and also describe how we Nigerians are the progress in adopting this solar energy so far.
With the high level of marketing that we engineers are already trying to enlighten people about using solar and letting them know that solar is way cheaper than you running on gen, with the high cost of fuel, you running electricity or BEDC, because many people run their homes with what they call it, high bills.
Yes.
So
most of the bills, sometimes they are even
estimated bills. So the thing is, there are initiatives that have been put down for you to be able to afford this solar. Firstly, you can go with paying small. There are companies who agree to you for you to pay small. You come, you give them the plans, or they give you the plans which you can get to whatever it is that you want. If it's the 1 kVA, 2 kVA, 3 kVA, 5 kVA.
So you pay by installments?
Yes, you pay installmental. So with those kind of initiatives, it has become easier and affordable for people to use.
So it's not exactly expensive
No,
now.
It's not, except you have the money, you just go for it at once.
Okay, now we've been discussing solar, and a lot of people are already using this solar energy. So now I want to understand, what are the most common misconceptions that Nigerians have about solar energy? What are the things that we're not getting properly? You can maybe share with us.
Firstly, I would like to talk on my own personal experience.
Okay.
So I met a client which I told her about going solar, because she was always complaining that their transformer gets bad more often.
Yeah.
So I said, why don't you just go solar to save you the stress, all these many talks and all. So she was like, solar that my sister's house caught fire. And I said, how are you sure? That is the solar that made your sisters have to
get fire,
get that fire. Why are you not saying, okay, whether it's from maybe the normal light sisters or from hair? Why are you sure it's solar? And that aside is because your sister used a low-level engineer, hence someone with no more much experience, and the quality that the person used. So those things are one of the things we face. And some people will say it's expensive, so we'll try to let them know that you can pay small for these products, and they are good to go.
So the misconception most people think that solar can make their house go on fire and all of that. Persons think that solar is only for the rich. That's also a misconception.
No, not really. Anyway,
they always feel that buying any equipment of that will maybe incur more cost to you. And now they are making us understand that they can pay installments.
Yes, to get whatever it is.
So talking about solar, we know that technology is evolving every day, Elisha. So what are some of the new solar technology that Nigerians should be excited about? What are the things that are coming into solar that we can be excited about in the near future?
Okay, there are several things that are being produced right now in the market. There's the bifacial solar panels. Those ones attract charges from both the face and that's the top and the back.
Oh,
like from Honda
from the panel.
Yes.
Oh, it's attracted from top
and it gives more efficiency.
Wow, but doesn't now get charges from bottom when the sun is not hitting there? Oh, through the heat from the aluminum or your roof.
Yes, from the roof.
Okay.
So it does another kind of innovation. And there are also other things that even the longer is also trying to do, you know, to get a kind of charge that everything that's both the monocrystalline, the polycrystalline, whatever it is, the silicon, everything put together with whatever they're producing, now charges it more than 50% of what monocrystalline to produce. Yes,
but it will not affect the battery. It will not be overcharging or too much.
No, you know, when you are getting that, it means you are getting more batteries or a higher battery watts.
Okay.
So in getting those kind of things, you have to go for maybe lithium batteries, 15 kilowatts, 20 kilowatts. At least it will charge faster, even while it's cloudy, no sun.
Oh, because that's another thing that will not restrain from solar. They say when it's cloudy or it doesn't really charge more.
That's why we advise people to go for more panels. You know, when you have more panels put together.
But more panels, you are seeing this more panels as if it's cheap. It's quite expensive.
You are paying small anyway.
Okay. It's still Tech Today on Independent Television, and Elisha and I were discussing the power of solar innovation in Nigeria, and it's just sharing what is solar and what we can learn about solar. And moving forward, we're going to ask him more questions just after the break. Don't go nowhere. When we come back, we'll throw more questions on Elisha. Welcome back to the program. It's still Tech Today on Independent Television, and we're discussing the power of solar energy, the innovation of solar energy in Nigeria, how solar has really helped us in Nigeria, and what is solar energy in general. So we have Engineer Elisha, who is a solar energy expert and also an electrical engineer with us in the studio, and has been answering lots of questions for us. So Engineer Elisha, you know, I know that in one way or the other, we need government's involvement in solar. So what way do you think our Nigerian government can help us, you know, make this affordable, this solar energy affordable, or make it easy for us so that everybody, and most people in Nigeria, not everybody can actually have access to this innovation, this technology?
Well, one of the things we actually face about the solar product is importation. The tax which has been placed on importing those solar products down to Nigeria.
Yeah.
Well, if the governments can be so kind to, you know, reduce the taxes for those products.
When you say taxes, remember our government is big on tax. Okay.
Then also the government can also do the subsidize some of the products. At least I know they are trying to do a factory here that can now produce panels, which is also a good thing ahead. Yeah. So it will reduce the costs actually for us. Then also private companies also are going to play a role based on paying small, the installment payments.
Okay,
and all. So that rule again would help people who really do not have much, but can pay that, small.
Governments can also assist people to pay.
Yes, to at least. So that's part of also the subsidy that they can do for people to be able to get these products. Which is also
now,
good.
thank you very much. I have this question. It has been on my mind. Somebody has asked me before in the past, and I want to bring it to you now. We know solar energy really helps us nowadays in our country, but do you think solar can replace the national grid, say in 10 or 20 years from now?
Well, truthfully,
Yes.
it might not, or it cannot, but it will reduce.
Why?
Because you have to produce a lot of watts for people to use.
But imagine we are in a community that has many amounts of solar panels are mounted there, and they say for that community, let's assume they want to go solar, total solar, and they want to cut out of the national grid.
Except that community has not had anything about national grid, light or whatever.
Okay.
If it's maybe an opening, a new community, and they can say, okay, instead of relying on the national grid, let's just go solar. And it's going to cost a lot also, based on, because these are new people already there. It's not as if they already had units there beforehand. So where you already have the national grid, so it's going to be very hard to now say you want to switch from the national grid. Totally, yes. So it will only reduce the usage of the national grid.
Now let's talk about batteries. We know that batteries is like the powerhouse of solar. Now, does this battery does it affect the cost? Is it what makes solar more expensive, or does it also affect the lifespan of solar systems?
Well, it affects the lifespan of solar systems positively.
Okay.
Because with the batteries, you cannot just be running on solar only at noon. You also have the night and maybe early morning. And these batteries are what you use to run throughout those periods.
So a good battery, how long can it last you? A good battery?
8 hours.
No, eventually, long-term wise, can it last you for 5 years before it
Yes,
gets bad?
for the tubular batteries, it can last you from 2 to 3 years or more.
Before you replace them?
Depending on the maintenance culture. But for the lithium, 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
Yes, because the maintenance is done internally. You don't need to do much. As long as it's been connected well, the materials you use are of good quality. Then it can last you for 10 to 15 years.
Beautiful. Speaking of good quality, and also you mentioned earlier, I want to know, what are the biggest mistakes engineers make when they are installing solar? Share with us. I believe you must have installed several panels and all of that to different clients. What are the mistakes that you think people make when installing this solar system?
Well, one of the mistakes people make or engineers make is not having a good solar installation system. How? Like when you want to install solar, you have cases that you can build for your batteries. You don't just bring batteries and put them on the floor where anybody can reach it. A person who you are installing solar for has children, and the children can come there and, just by touching the battery valves and all, you don't just leave it there like that. We have cases which we can build, and you put those batteries there. They are locked but exposed at some sites where the emission can just easily go out from. So those things are one of the mistakes they make. Another mistake is the low quality material. You're fixing a solar of 10 kVA, 20 kVA, then you are using a low quality wire of 1 mm or 1.5 mm. Now, when you are fixing those kind of things, you use materials that can hold the strength of energy which passes through, so that you don't have the scenario of this wire got burnt, from there entered, so my house now got burnt. No, you use good quality materials. You are being paid for this, so why not just buy this thing instead of you trying to be greedy to minimize costs for it.
All right, thank you so much. I've really learned a lot today. We've had a truly enlightening conversation today with Engineer Elisha Leo Asikidi. He's an expert in solar technology. He has explained to us from how solar works to how Nigerians' growing investment in renewable energy. It's clear that solar power is not just the future, okay? It is a present solution to our electricity challenges, okay? As we move towards a cleaner and smarter Nigeria, I want you all to remember that the sun does not charge anyone, okay? What we need are smart minds, of course, and the right innovation to harness it. And like Elisha said, we need to also get good materials also, so we don't go and start getting inferior materials that will not cause us harm later in the future. All right, that is all we can take on today's edition of Tech Today. Don't forget that we do this on radio every Monday by 8:30 p.m. We call it Tech Info. Okay, join me again next week for another deep dive into the world of technology and innovation that is transforming our everyday life. My name is Momo Lawal. You can call me Mr. Kankan. Till then, stay bright, stay innovative, and keep shining with solar power. Bye for now.